Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. When I was 13, I was in a foster home still. I was being sexually abused and whatever. Make it a little short. I decided to escape. And I still remember it was January 13th. And it was it was in the 80s. I was 13, so it was in the 80s. And I ended up walking from Burlington Turnpike all the way to Hartford. A cop pulled me over and asked me where was I going. I told him I'm going home. He said, why? Don't you live out here? I said, no. My mother left me in her friend's house and I'm trying to make it back home. Like, I need to be home. So they took me home. They left me on Park Street, 95 Park Street. I still remember. The building is just rebuilt again as a new building now. So I ended up there. My mother didn't want me. She was in a bar, partying, whatever. She put me in the DJ booth and told the DJ to do whatever he wanted with me. Okay. The DJ respected me though. I give it to him. I still didn't feel comfortable. So I told him I'm leaving. I'm gonna go for a walk. I ended up walking. Ended up on Wolcott and Park Street. So and so, I was eating out of garbage cans, whatever. I was hungry. Then met my mother up on Grand Street. That's where she was staying at. And from there, her brother was doing stupid shit, beating me up with wires and whatever. I couldn't take that, so I left. I ended up on Hungerford Street. There was a burnt house there. And I used to go down through the basement, make myself all the way up to the attic and just go to sleep. One day I walked out, the next morning I walked out, started walking around Hartford, just roaming around, you know. My area was downtown. I used to love going to downtown for some reason, I don't know why. But that night that I left, I went back to Park Street because I had to make it back to Hungerford Street where I was sleeping at. And I stopped at Peter Gourmet, which is still there up to today. And there was a garbage can right there in that corner. So I would wait for people to come out and throw their leftovers there. And I would take some and eat some. One night I did that and there was these guys and a couple of girls there. And they had these leather vests and it said Savage Nomads on them.
So let me ask you this, OG. When you was growing up, was there any problem with gangs when you was a kid or teenager?
We had gangs. We had Savage Nomads.
Brother, Savage Nomad.
From old school, that Crazy Carmen, my mom and them Nomads saw me grow up.
That's right.
So
I'm sorry, but they saw me and they was like, yo, what are you doing? I said, nothing, I'm getting something to eat. Like, I'm hungry. Like, somebody just threw this here, so I'm about to eat it. They were like, no, we're not doing that. They took the plate away from me. They threw it in the garbage again. I said, yo, but I'm hungry. They was like, no, you're about to get something to eat. They brought me inside Peter Gourmet. They brought me my food, whatever. And they sat there with me. And they told me, where do you live at? So I showed them where I lived at. And they was like, nah, we can't have that. How old are you? And I told them I'm 13, about to be 14 soon. So they was like, all right, so where's your parents? I'm like, yo, my mother's in the streets. Like, she loves to party, so she's not worrying about none of her kids. And they was like, all right, so you coming with us? So I'm like, coming with y'all where? I don't even know y'all. Like, where am I going? I still remember they took me up Wolcott Street to Ward Street. Right on Ward Street, there was a blue house. They brought me to the 3rd floor attic where it was their apartment. There's the blue house, and that's the attic apartment that Savage Nomads brought me to. That's why I stood up with them, so.
What was one of your best memories there?
I was being fed. I ain't had to go to no garbage cans to eat. I was being fed even if I wasn't family. So that was the best. Somebody that didn't know me taking care of me like I was one of their own. That was the best. I wish I had it like that again. And they had me crash there with them until I was ready to move on. And they took care of me. They made sure I was bathed, had clothes, and made sure that I was going to school, even though they wasn't my parents, but they made sure I was going to school. And it was Batanza school. Oh, I hate that school. But they made sure I got my education for the meanwhile that I was with them. Then one day I just got tired of being around them because there was other people that, you know, I wanted to be around. I was looking for my family. I went back. That's when I ended up going to Stowe Village. I ended up looking for my aunt. Ended up staying there. But up to today, I still look for my Savage Nomad brothers. Because they wasn't just a gang. And I was never down with them. But they was my family when I needed them. They was my brothers and they was my sisters. I can mention names, but I don't want to mention names because, you know, I don't want to predict them. I don't want to put them in the middle of nothing. But just know that this lady here, she's 50 years old, and up to today, I still talk about them. Up to today, I might see one or two of them, and I'd be happy just to see the jacket say Savage Nomads, and now they're riding motorcycles. So when I see them doing positive, that means that they started somewhere and they started with me. So I give it to them.